Stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his son.
We showed you Bill Maher scolding Adam Schiff a few days ago for his enormous hypocrisy and the impact it had on the perpetually shambling Democrats. The second installment delves deeper into Schiff's double standards and a full-blown case of Trump derangement sickness, so buckle up. Now is an excellent time to subscribe if you haven't already, unless you want to miss more delectable political meltdowns like this one. Office of Legal Opinion. My opinion has always been the first one expressed by the Office of Legal Counsel.
I was always of the opinion, number one, that the Office of Legal Counsel opinion that you can't indict a sitting president was wrong.
Oh, good.
That, in fact, you can indict a sitting president. I think there are prudential reasons not to try someone who's the President of the United States, but particularly when there's any risk of the statute of limitations running. If the president commits a crime, they should be indicted, and you should stay prosecution. So, but frankly, I had no expectation that that would be the course Mueller would take, even if the evidence supported it, because he is fundamentally conservative. I don't mean left-right conservative, but he was going to follow the established policy. He was not going to make new ground. So I didn't think it was realistic to expect that he would indict the president. And those that did, I think, were unrealistic in their expectation.
During his first 4 years, Adam Schiff essentially sang sonnets about indicting President Trump. I want you to pay close attention to that. It was more than criticism. This was a complete obsession. Look, now I understand. Schiff's political affiliation is Democratic. He will undoubtedly support Biden and vomit at the mouth whenever Trump even speaks. However, is that really what this nation needs at this moment? Is it possible for politicians to ignore the corruption within their own party and consider party devotion as a religion? The political situation in America is already precarious. The last thing we need is more politicized puppets who act as though they are promoting justice when, in reality, they are only stoking divisiveness. Responsibility shouldn't end at the party line. Schiff, however, doesn't care about any of that. Their only concern is maintaining their party's hold on power. The rest of America doesn't care if they go to hell. At this point, you're probably wondering where I'm headed. That's a fair question. I will then return shortly with my thoughts after watching this clip.
Here's our big gun. Now it just looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like, if you couldn't impeach before, how you can impeach after?
Did you hear Bill Maher accuse Adam Schiff of being a Trump stalker? Because, to be honest, he was just that. At the time, Schiff was adamant about impeaching Trump regardless of the consequences or the complete absence of proof. He was promoting the Russia collusion story as if it were fact. The kicker is this, though. Even Robert Mueller, the Department of Justice's special counsel, failed to produce any results. There was nothing to support the hysteria Schiff was stoking on television every other night. No hard proof, no smoking gun. Nevertheless, he was unrelenting, fixated, and strangely excited about overthrowing Trump. If the facts were not in agreement, it made little difference. Schiff wasn't looking for the truth. He sought partisan glory and media attention. Being so dedicated to a witch hunt reduces due process to just another annoyance. Maher is revealing Schiff's hypocrisy bit by bit, but there's still more.
Here's the awful dilemma that we face. If we don't impeach him, that sends a message that this kind of conduct, this obstruction of justice, this kind of willing use of the help of a foreign adversary, all the lies and cover-up, that this is non-impeachable. At the same time, if we do impeach him, and he is acquitted as he would likely be acquitted, then the message is those are not impeachable offenses. At the end of the day, Bill, there's only one way to deal with this problem, whether we impeach him or not, and that is to vote his ass out of office.
Schiff has always been pursuing that, using all measures necessary to remove Trump from office and place his favorite political puppet in the White House, not justice or truth. Reading between the lines makes it brutally clear. There was nothing admirable about Schiff's quest for accountability. He was determined to return power to his party. This is the true tell. Why was he forecasting an acquittal before the trial even started? If he really had solid evidence and his case against Trump was as strong as he insisted on saying, the assurance of a man who has facts on his side is not that. A political manipulator who understands that theater is more important than the truth would calculate that. Schiff was not playing to the Constitution, but to the cameras. It was never about fairness. Control, publicity, and points were always the focus for Team Blue. This is where Bill Maher throws the gauntlet, though.
Stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know or that you tell us about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all or improve Obamacare or get a chicken. I don't know what.
One ruthlessly straightforward inquiry that exposed Adam Schiff's entire storyline demonstrated once again how adept Bill Maher is at uncovering political hypocrisy. Schiff has spent the last 7 years using Trump as a political boogeyman, saying things like, Trump bad, Orange man scary. However, Maher broke through the clutter by asking why we should vote for Democrats if Trump is a monster and we oppose him. What, more specifically, does Schiff genuinely think is true, aside from his hatred of Trump? Stillness. Schiff's preoccupation with one rival is what makes him famous, not his leadership or ideas. The Hunter Biden laptop incident further undermined the moral superiority he asserted during Trump's impeachment campaigns. Rather than advocating for openness, Schiff jumped to Hunter's defense, brushing off criticism and even insulting the repairman who came forward with the information.
John Paul, we know that your life has been turned absolutely upside down because you were accused of spreading Russian disinformation. Tell us about the last few years and what led you to file this lawsuit.
Good morning, Carly. Thanks for having me on the show. Well, the last couple of years have been pretty tough. It was pretty quick out of the gate that I was labeled a hacker. And then after Adam Schiff and 51 intelligence experts decided to pen a letter and tell the rest of the American people I was a Russian asset, things have kind of gone downhill from there.
I must give it to John Paul McIsaac. Even as he was pulled through the muck, the man couldn't help but laugh. Adam Schiff was what he called Adam Schiff. In all honesty, it fits. Schiff didn't simply distort the facts. He molded, twisted, and moved it to suit his political purposes. Anyone who has the guts to come out and expose the dubious activities on Hunter Biden's notorious laptop, like John Paul, deserves recognition, protection, and even rewards for standing up to the establishment. Not in Schiff's America, though. Schiff went on national television to disparage John Paul as a Russian asset rather than looking into the truth. No hesitation, no proof, just a straight-out character assassination. He created the stage for a national smear campaign by portraying a whistleblower as a villain, and the media followed suit like clockwork, for exposing the wrong man, that is.
But we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his son.
Adam Schiff boldly said the Hunter Biden laptop allegation was just Russian propaganda without any supporting facts. No due diligence, no research, just blatant finger-pointing disguised as a national security issue. Schiff said the laptop was a fake on national television, blatantly lying to the American people. Rudy Giuliani, in a desperate attempt to discredit Joe Biden ahead of the election, was pushing the whole tale, which was a fabrication. He portrayed it as a shady tactic straight out of the Kremlin's playbook in the hopes that Americans would ignore it and think it was a hoax. The kicker is this, though. It was an actual laptop. They were authentic emails. Influence peddling, corruption, and dubious international transactions. Real as well. Schiff did more than just make a mistake. He deliberately misinformed the public, all to safeguard the golden boy of his party. And we are now met with silence rather than accountability. Doesn't it seem convenient?
Group of people who are not ideologically captured by either side. I am tired of the extremes and the extremists who dominate the debate. They have the megaphone and we hear them more, but I don't think they represent what most people in the country talk about. I think almost any issue you could actually come up with a reasonable middle.
Many of us share Bill Maher's frustration with politicians like Adam Schiff, who are ideologically captured, morally ambivalent, and utterly party loyal rather than national. Those who are unable to hold their own side accountable are the ones who partisanize every topic. In the morning, they are prepared to hang Donald Trump if he even jaywalks. However, it quickly turns into Russian misinformation and a conspiracy theory if Joe Biden's son gets involved in a problem. I find the hypocrisy astounding. It's not about integrity, justice, or the truth. Their political tribe needs to be protected at all costs. They are not employees of the government. They are partisan hacks engaged in risky behavior, and if we don't watch out, they'll take the rest of the nation down with them. Now is the moment to confront them, expose them for what they are, and stop allowing them to push us farther down a path of disintegration and disintegration. Hypocrisy, double standards, and party allegiance over principles are all characteristics of American politics that Adam Schiff personifies. He was fixated on bashing Trump for years.
In the year we're living in, you know, the year 2024 is just very different. Very, like night and day different from 50 years ago, even probably 20 years ago.
Debunking legitimate concerns like the Hunter Biden laptop as Russian disinformation and spreading dubious theories. He doubled down instead of taking responsibility when the truth came to light. He's not alone either. Safeguarding the party comes before safeguarding the nation, and too many politicians view politics as a team sport where victory comes before integrity. In the words of Bill Maher, what are you truly offering if all you have to offer is fear of the opposition? Not professional opportunists, but leaders with genuine beliefs are what Americans want. If we continue to follow Schiff and others like him, we will continue to go downhill. We appreciate you watching, and for more, please remember to like and subscribe.